your co-guest, on how they should position themselves in playing a meaningful role, as you alluded, engaging with government members and entities in such a way that you can basically provide good advisory, I'd say a good advisory or be in a good position such that you do solve problems and real problems, something that is basically entangled by the end user. Because I know as a guilty young civil engineer, I seldom think of the end user. I seldom think of a solution that I know will work for the end user better. I'm more thinking of, okay, I just wanna do something exciting and new and use technology, and then you use it or you implement it, and then you realize, no, actually the community doesn't even have the buy-in. They're not interested in that. I mean, you're in traffic engineering. The best e-toll system is on the roads right now, but the end user didn't buy in. They're like, nope, you didn't ask us. We don't want to be part of it. We don't want to pay. But it's the best technological system. It's one of those situations. So how would you advise an academic to basically position themselves in a role that they do provide good advice in the academic space?
Yeah, I think sometimes the issue behind buying in of whatever solutions you're trying to put out there, I think it has to do with having proper engagement at the onset. So if it's also quite context sensitive. So whatever solutions, infrastructural solutions you are trying to put to the end user, you actually have to understand, first of all, the needs of the end user. So there must be an understanding of the needs and proper engagement for you to actually have buy-in into whatever you are putting out there. And my advice, you asked about my advice to the upcoming built environment professionals in terms of how they, in terms of engagement with those in the public sector and those who are actually driving infrastructures and all that, right? If I have one advice is, well, first of all, is to recognize that in the field of civil engineering or built environment field as a whole, what you are doing is you are trying to solve societal problems. So you're trying to provide solutions to societal problems. And I think one of the things that to make an upcoming civil engineer or young built environment professional is actually your creative thinking. So everything you have to do, you have to apply some innovations, some creative thinking around solutions. There are no really a single approach to solving problems. So every day what we do in civil engineering, we want to solve problems efficiently. So you want to solve problems efficiently, and again, this boils to the fact that governments and institutions are constantly constrained by resources to actually carry out infrastructural development. So as a civil engineer, your job would be to actually continuously think about more creative approach to solve problems in a very efficient manner. So I think that would be the key advice, if you ask me, for young built environment professionals. But again, there's also the problems. You mentioned the problem about buying in from I'm not quite sure I get that clearly. So maybe you should repeat that. You talk about buying in of ideas from young engineers when they find themselves in. I'm not sure how to actually answer that, to be honest. Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure I have an answer for that. It's a very complex question. I don't think I have an answer for that.
Not a problem.
That's fine. That's perfect. So Peter, your turn now. So, if you had to give advice to Dr. Ivan, for instance, a built environment professional in academia, how would you advise him to position himself so that he has a lot of influence in this economic recovery as a professional in the field?
What advice would I give him?
Yeah.
Giving advice to seniors is difficult. Giving advice to seniors is difficult. I would advise for him and seniors to, I think, try engage government and other parties involved within the built environment sector. I think things like forums could be a good way to drive that engagement between themselves, or rather to build that that network, that those linkages between themselves, or people in academia and people in the infrastructure, or rather public infrastructure development sphere. But I think he mentioned that already, that there's already some sort of relationships between public entities that are in charge of delivering projects. I think they should pursue that beyond what they are already investing in right now, especially seeing that there's so much coming up in terms of development, infrastructure development in the country. I don't know, very recently they mentioned something about what is it called? The sustainable infrastructure development system that they're going to be rolling out. There's about 88 projects that have been already given the go-ahead out of, I think, 276 projects. I think perhaps they could also have, I don't know, some sort of a engagement or forums, I don't know in what sense, but where they can engage government about those kind of, upcoming projects, and get to share what their thoughts are, get to share what their ideas, or get to share academic knowledge in terms of project delivery, infrastructure investment, infrastructure development, and sustainability, and so forth. So I think for me, mainly create some sort of a communication line, expand it. So for example, if you have a relationship with SNR, expand that to ESCOM, expand that to other entities that are involved in the infrastructure development sphere.
Thanks. And I see Doctor is taking notes there, Tshephisho.
Yes.
Yeah.